Welcome to the Bet Community Call for Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. Hope you all have been doing well. Apologies for the couple minutes late here. I had another call that ran long, but looks like you all are doing well. Sounds like we got him in the house. Cool. We can.
We're just humming along here.
Humming along. Excellent. Cool. And Marshall, let me get you the transcription. I think real quick. But yeah, no, things are good. I think is Adam, or are you going to kick off the
Yeah. I'm here. I've got a weekly slideshow. I'll start that up.
Excellent.
Okay. So we've got the Bat Ambassador NFTs ready to go. Got the lovely artwork by G. I just got to put it on chain. I was on Twitter. I was thinking how based Jimmy's banner is with the Pac-Man, and I love this little this lion in the bottom left. It reminds me very much of like the old school Dungeons and Dragons art. I don't know if anyone have played third edition, but yeah, it was definitely an era. He's got this Pokemon one as well. That's good. But then this one came to me as well. This I love this one. It's got all the Pepes with the different brave stuff on it, which I love.
it.
But to be honest, there's one bit about this presentation coming up which is going to blow everyone's socks off. It's just so good. But it's not my one. But we've got left hand 672 days, a doodle every day. How does he do it?
Amazing. The guy's like a machine. I absolutely love it.
I know. I don't think I can even do one of them, and he's just like doing it every day. They're so good. All right. Yeah. Discipline equals freedom.
Yeah.
So let's kick it off, Godson.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Godson, and I'm here with the African Ambassadors update for the week. We've reconstituted the team. We had our first meeting last week. It was nice. So I asked everyone for a picture, and I wanted to put it up there so we can have we can put some faces to the names. Everyone's in their best outfits, their suits. I should have put mine up there as well. We can all be wearing 3-piece suits. Why are you laughing? So new team. We're gonna start pushing really hard. We're planning a university tour. Stan, Alfred, and Shidi are planning university tours that we're gonna try to get to by next month. We're gonna need some help with merch and that kind of stuff, but we're gonna do it, and we're also gonna use the opportunity to we have a plan to grow the African ambassadors team between the actual ambassadors and the attaches to say 50 by the end of the year. So the university tour is the first step towards that. Refs and stats. We're gonna starting next week. We're gonna I'm gonna give you guys a nice spreadsheets, slideshow going through all the data. How many new referrals, how many new conversions, total referrals and total conversions and that kind of thing. But unfortunately, Jen isn't here, right? And she's the one with the actual data. So next week we'll get to it. We'll also next week's community call will most likely be also streamed to the big both BAT accounts. We also need her presence to make that happen. So we'll start that next week. Shout out to Belladone for streaming the past couple weeks and today as well. Lastly, I'm gonna I want to give a special spotlight to Stan and Alfred. So Aaron, if you could switch over to the next slide. Yes. So Stan and Alfred, some of our best people. In the bottom there is, Stan is minting some new stickers for cars and stuff, and you can't really see it, but each one has like a little QR code on it as well. It's some of the most like interesting and like innovative ways that he's helping us push Bat and Brave. Unfortunately, he made a mistake. These are not his ref codes, so like the QR code isn't his, so he has to actually go back and do it again. But I wanted to just include these pictures and give him a big shout out as well. And then up there is Alfred in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, last week at a big conference called Deca Hack. He made some. It was an ICP sponsored conference, but he still went up there, and he's wearing like the Brave merch, as hat and t-shirt and everything. And he met the organizer up there, and he's gonna follow up with him as well. And we're planning some meetups as well, but we're not like entirely sure like how to fund it and stuff. So when that happens, I'll give you guys an update as well. So unfortunately, they're not here because they're like 6 hours ahead. So by this time it's like 11 o'clock in Nigeria and like 12 a.m. in Kenya. So shout out to Stan and Alfred, and thank you.
Awesome, Godson. That's great. I love seeing the stickers and getting folks out. It's awesome.
Heck yeah, the African ambassadors are killing it out there. Those guys are awesome. It'd be even awesomer once the on-chain rewards and all those people out there can start earning that. It's gonna be dope. They're killing it out there. All right, so for me, updates this week. We had Token 2049 in Dubai, which I was fortunate enough to get a chance to go out there. A little bit of a wild ride with the floods and stuff going on, and of course I can talk about it a little more later. But yeah, lots of people that we met, and lots of people interested in working with Brave, of course. And so hopefully some of those meetings and contacts start trickling down into actual partnerships and collaborations with different projects of all kinds of types, from like gaming to let's see, gaming, events, associations in different places, things like that. All very interested in working with Brave. So hopefully we can start seeing some of that here in the near future. And like I said, later I can talk more about that as well. If anybody's interested or has questions, feel free to ask. But also, while in Dubai, they had a karate combat event, so I was fortunate enough to go to that. I know the pictures are pretty small there on the bottom, but I snuck my way down all the way to the bottom by the mat, and the guys that were getting knocked out they brought them out right there next to me, and it was, could have probably could have taken them at that point myself, but it was pretty cool to see it up that close and personal. It was a pretty good event because I don't know if they told the guys to just go at it or what, but it seemed like everybody was just going for the knockouts, and so it was a lot of entertaining fun. But met a lot of good people at that event as well too. So then moving on this week, back to our Twitter Spaces Friday. It's been a few weeks with everybody being out or things like that. So this Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we'll have the Ola Gigi space. They are a gaming project, I think mostly based in Latin America, Latam, and they did a space with Paula on the Spanish community before. So now we're going to do one on the English here this Friday. So feel free to come check it out. We'll keep those announcements in Discord and on Twitter and everything too as soon as we got them. And then just kind of some other updates with like Drip. We did the Echo magazine that Guillermo did a few weeks back. I think we're going to be running some ads with them, so you may see some of those soon. And then I think we got some stuff coming up with Bandit as far as Quest and stuff goes. So hopefully that we'll see that more on that here pretty soon. And yeah, I think that's the main updates I had as far as partners go. Next Karate Combat event is well, I think they have a smaller one in like 3 weeks, and then into May for Consensus, they've got another one with another celebrity matches. So that should be a good one. So if anybody's in the U.S. or whatever and can attend, that'd probably be a good one to go to.
Yeah, we'll have Scott from a Crypto Dojo will be there too, right? Like,
yeah, I think that's the plan. Have them making some content and stuff. So looking forward to that too, and maybe doing a live stream or something. Yeah, we'll have to see what all we can do. But yeah, I think that's all I got for now.
So Drew, that road in the picture looks a little too dry, like compared to.
I can show you some of the other pictures where they're not dry.
I was like following along with some folks that were there mainly out of FOMO at first, and then out of like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I didn't have to go.
Yeah, exactly.
But it looked like we were driving boats on the freeway or something.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little rough there that first day or so, and then even afterwards getting around town, depending on where you're going, it was like that. I guess they're not prepared or infrastructure wise for 2 years worth of rain in one day, apparently. So some of that water was still just sitting there. It was interesting.
Dang. And then you and Carlos were there, right?
Yeah, Carlos was there as well. I don't know if he's on the call. Of course, he's if he is, he can share his. I don't see him on, but yeah, I'm happy to share more later if anybody's interested.
Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so Dad, I don't know if you had anything else you want to.
That's all, folks.
Right on. Cool. So a couple of updates from our side too. Like, I don't know if you guys saw we had the Answer Engine launch last week with Brave Search. So that if you guys have tried it out or feedback, please let us know. Love to get more feedback on that. And on my side, a couple things. We're continuing the meme coin collaboration pilots that we've got. Fen here from him, one of the 3 projects that we're piloting with, and we have a couple more we're adding to the roster. Probably this week I'll have one or 2 coming up that I'll share with you all. But I don't know, Fen. I wanted to start getting some of these projects on the community call because some of the members of the community, like Jimmy and the Dave and Bows and Battern and Drew, a couple others are already kind of doing some collaborative memes, and Nam Gang too are all doing a bunch of memes with these communities and stuff. But the broader community hasn't heard from a lot of these projects. So I knew we got Fen from home here. I don't know if you want to give some say hello and share a bit about him to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thank you, for having me here. I'm really happy to finally have made it in here because I think it's a crucial next step in what the vision of us collaborating will look like. We've been super thrilled and grateful with everything that has been going on. It's been incredible. The visibility has been amazing. We just want to focus moving forward on bridge building because I think it's really special what you've created with the group of memes that you have, especially with the range. You have some bigger memes and some smaller memes. Is in a kind of underdog situation right now with massive potential, and we really want to think of ways that we can maximize this collaboration between the communities and see how we can create some kind of interconnectedness or like a synergy between all of them, because I think that's still very much untapped. And that's kind of the reason that I wanted to hop on this call today too, is because we have like some ideas moving forward about what we could potentially do. And I think that Brave being essentially the hub, or like the center, like the umbrella that is elevating all these meme coins, I think is a really crucial and important role. So yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I have several ideas that I'm open to sharing and seeing feedback from the community, what you feel. But I just wanted to first, say hi and say thank you for everything you've done to support us. And JN was out there in Dubai and like doing God's work in braving the insanity, no pun intended, but braving the craziness of all of that. And we're still seeing what the results from that will be. But we're very much, the team is very committed, is very like all in on this. So we're excited to see what ways we can really elevate this to like where all of us can benefit from our mutual like synergistic relationship.
No, I think it's awesome. And like, you all have been great. Like, James been really cool to work with too. And like, I think we kind of found out about you through some folks in the community that were telling us about like the spaces you guys were doing that were kind of like performance art, which was super interesting. But it was one of those things that jumped out, was that like fair launch, and like you guys were super upfront. And it was like, there is no roadmap. We're all about community and just humming. And it was just kind of super clever. And early on, I mean, like when we started doing these kind of, this pilot program is kind of an experimental thing for us. And, but we knew that we could like help to get more attention, with the platform. And like the numbers we saw, like you guys were the second project that we put in the pilot where, like we did Mutai first, and like going in there was really like, okay, what are the right metrics to look at? But being able to work with you guys, like, as a second project was really cool, because we could say, okay, like we know we need to watch Bird Eye. We know that we saw these things move. Like, what else are we going to see here? They've got really good momentum at home, and like they're doing some interesting stuff. The potential with the memes is great to like put them across both communities. And then, but the stuff we started seeing was like insane. Like I think within 6 hours of us launching the ad campaign, the 24-hour views were up like over 42,000% or something, like really bananas. And then it kind of helped us too, because like once you hit that first 24 hours, it kind of resets the baseline of like, okay, this is the new viewer potential we bring. And then we started seeing stuff happening like within a day or two, like on other metrics too. So it's like really cool to be able to see with your guys' project, like really like, okay, having a second shot at looking at this for the first time, we can see like how this is impacting things. But I think what's interesting too about what you guys are doing compared to like what like Mutai is kind of tied to like a real world beverage, right? Like, or asset or whatever, and it's kind of more Asian inspired, and they're doing a bunch of different things all over the place. And you guys are doing like, you guys just had a NFT mint, right? Like with Amigos.
Yeah.
So can you share a bit about that, like, and how Hum is involved with that? Like,
yeah, absolutely. We decided to launch this project to kind of solidify the community, to give back to the community also. And it's very interesting because, we're kind of like bringing that energy, the NFT energy, back in a way that's been missing for a while. And essentially we created this NFT collection called Amigos, there was a snapshot taken for holders. So whoever was holding 25K at the time of the snapshot could get a free claim of a Amigo. We faced some obstacles because Solana congestion has been really insane. So the first day, the claims, we had to delay it for a day, but it's picked up pretty good traction. I think like over close to 1,000 out of 5,000 have been minted. And you can buy the Amigos for either 0.5 Sol or by burning 25K. So in that way, it makes the token deflationary, and like you're reducing the supply and buying Amigos. Right now, I think we've burnt like 2% of the supply like 20 million currently, like in the last few days. So that's definitely something that we want to kind of keep elevating and building and seeing in what ways we can kind of start leading with that with the amigos. And that's where like the kind of creating this cross marketing campaign, or so we had this one idea, and I wanted to run it by you to see like what the community thinks. But one of our ideas was basically gifting a certain supply of amigos to the other projects involved in the Brave collab. You
Mhm.
know, I think there, how many are right now? Like 5 or
Right now it's Hum, Wen, and Mutai, and I think we're going to add another 1 or 2 this week. So currently with you guys, it's 3, and then
okay.
probably 5 pretty shortly
So,
total.
so like the idea we were kind of spitballing was like we could do something like we could give the projects involved in the Brave partnership, like let's say 10 amigos, and then they can give them away to their communities, and we could do some kind of cross marketing where part of it is like, just follow Brave, follow whoever is running the giveaway, and that way we can kind of create some kind of solidify a community and kind of tie it together so that, like I said earlier, like Brave is kind of the glue tying all these projects together, like even the big projects or the smaller projects. And I think it's a good look for all of them, and also for Brave, because it's kind of like, oh, see, we're not just promoting these projects on the website, on the browser. We're also like creating kind of intersectional possibilities and collaborations between the projects themselves. And that's just one of the ideas that we were dreaming up in terms of like, okay, how can we kind of get Migos, because Migos is tied to the token, obviously, in the way that like you can get it by buying the token, you're burning the token, so you in that way you're lowering the supply. So there's this intricate relationship between them, and I think that the more amigos go out there, the more the token also people start to relate them, and increases the value, like the social value of the token,
Yeah.
by linking it to the amigos. But that was one of our ideas, and I'd love to like see what you think of that, or if that's something that makes any sense.
That's cool. I think it's awesome. Like we see in some people commenting in a chat, like Drew is saying he likes it too, and I think there's one thing that's really cool about this idea too is that we have this really good partnership with the Bandit Network, and they do like quests where they're basically like Web3 questing platforms. And one thing I've been talking with and Drew and Carlos and Jenny as well, all been talking with Sandesh and his team at Bandit about doing quests and kind of incorporating meme campaigns, like meme coin campaigns with the quest, because we have all these project ties now. And I think, when we've been looking at how the program's been running, like there's like basically 3 phases so far that we've iterated on. And the first phase is just pretty general, where, you guys saw it with Hum, where like, the first phase is a pretty basic set of ads. Like one goes to the Twitter page with the follow, encouragement. One goes to a specific tweet that you guys wanted to promote. I think with you guys, it was like the pin tweet or whatever that we just pulled up. And then the third one just goes to the site. And, the idea is to kind of cast a net and get that initial set of eyes on it. But then, phase 2 is kind of more, how do we like generate some demand around certain things that the coin's doing? So in your guys' case, it was like amigos, right? Like and putting the word out about that. And I really like this idea. Like what we're thinking about is like, okay, well, what about for phase 3? Like where you think of it more as like kind of not an end game, but kind of like a next step kind of phase where, okay, we've seen how we can drive like some of this attention, awareness, and engagement together, with the coin, but like, what's the next phase like? And so I think, questing has been one of those things where it's another arrow in the quiver that we can use for these things. And I think you laid it out really well, where there's like steps in the process you can have where we can tie these communities together through a quest that would be perfect for what we're talking about doing with the phase 3 stuff. So I think like whether it's amigos or could do something where, like, bat holders, or the even like we have NFT holders too. Like we could kind of dial this in where people that are holding any of these are getting a benefit, together with the Hamigo thing. I think it's all a good idea. Like, and I think, we can, it's something I'm willing to take forward to some of these other projects that we're working with too, to see if they're game to participate with it as part of the program.
Yeah.
And, I think it's really cool, because that's what we're trying to figure out right now is like for phase 3, because some of these projects will have like, you're already starting to see it, where like some of these meme coins, they'll be, just like pure community plays where they might, like with you guys are doing NFTs and trying to kind of be that gel, like that connective tissue, right? And then there's us others that are tying them into like games or other products or other things like that, where then it's like, in that phase 3 scenario, it's kind of like, okay, how can we use the platform to kind of, and BAT to kind of like tie this into that next step for the product side of things. And then I think that, there's other just opportunistic things we could do together. But I like that these 3 projects we've got are pretty solid. Like you were saying earlier, like you guys might feel like the underdog, but I think it's like, it's part of the cool thing about this program is where if we can get like communities are solid, the memes are good. If the right ingredients are there, like meme coins are not going away. And I think a lot of it is like, it's cultural, like with NFTs in the last cycle, but now we have the opportunity to kind of tie these things together. Right. And this phase is a good one to try this with. So I think like we could do, I'd be happy to kind of like, connect with Bandit on getting something like that going. I'd love to get feedback from other people here too, whether you want to raise hands and put thoughts in there or just share them in the chat too. But if that sounds good, I'd love to kind of see where we can go with that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what people are thinking. I think also like we reached out to Wen, like slid into their DMs like, hey, it's really like we love what you're doing, blah blah blah, but we didn't get a reply from them. And
Okay.
Understandable, and that's where I think that if we were to come at it from a place of like, oh, we're doing this as part of the Brave thing, then it's like, oh wait, okay, like if we kind of double down on the, hey, we're actually on the same side, we're not competing with each other, like we can actually all elevate each other. I think that is going to be one of the crucial like foundations of like everyone kind of there's a big enough pie for everyone to get a piece of it. And I think that like meme coins have cemented themselves. Like this bull run is already very different and you can tell. And I think that meme coins are establishing themselves in a way very differently than before. Like you have like teams and like vetted teams doing work and reputable devs and all this kind of stuff that is very interesting. And we're still at the beginning of it. So I think that if we position ourselves, and when I say ourselves, I mean like the Brave community and the projects on the umbrella of it, position ourselves in a way like we could really set like a standard of like, oh wait, this is actually the way to do it. Look at, and then you can give other projects opportunities also, where it's like, oh, this project is started, and look at everything of value that you could kind of join this network that we all kind of uplift each other. And that's why I was talking to our artist today about, because I'm really grateful of the memes that have been coming out. Your meme lord has done like a lot of, has been going really hard on it. But I really want to, I want us to also be able to kind of contribute our own kind of twist on it, and focusing on the projects. And I think that again, that's also something that could be very mutually beneficial for everyone, because it's like, oh, okay, it's not, we're collaborative marketing right now. We're not competitive marketing. And then like, I don't know, I think there's something untapped there that could potentially be something like really powerful moving deeper into the bull market.
I think there totally is, right? Like, and I think that like, something that's nice about meme coin being fungible is that, there's a lot, there's something I noticed with NFT communities that was kind of, I don't want to say it was like toxic, but it certainly was like caused a lot of drama, was like, there's a limited amount of the collection. And so like people would get really upset when people would like, for whatever reason, like have to, exit their position or whatever. Like a lot of focus was on like the scarcity of like, there's only so many in a set. So people got really, defensive over like, movement there. Whereas like with meme coins, it's totally not that case, like because they're fungible and like it can be way more collaborative, I think, than, ultimately we're a community building with these things. Right. And it's kind of interesting because, a lot of times people would do like, okay, well, do we do like, you're starting to see like this communities get tied together with these meme coins and leading into products or leading into other things or just not like whatever. I mean, I think doing something like this collaborative wise is cool. And I think that, we'd be happy to kind of like, I mean, we're all familiar enough at this point too, having been, out there in the wild with this and seeing the public's reaction to it, which has been overwhelmingly positive. I mean, the engagement we've been getting off of these has been really positive, like with every project. And like every time I would go in and make one tweet about, I'd have like 30 replies from different people, like on like with different music. It was great. And I think that like, there's going to be, I mean, if you look at like sites like pump.fun and all these other sites, they're just going to be more and more crowding of crap in the market. And I think what I really like about what we've got going here is that, we can find like the best projects to work with. It doesn't matter if they're small or large or whatever, but it's a good mix. And, and it can be that lineup that we're kind of positioning on. And there should be cool things you can do, like with having these different coins as part of this lineup, right? Like some of this stuff here, and I think it's a pretty green field as far as like what we want to do, but I love this whole like collaborative like idea of doing these things together, because really it's like, okay, like, people are earning with Brave rewards, but if we start to make it so that people are kind of discovering cool projects through this, and then like we collectively can kind of pull together and make those rewards users get even a greater benefit from it. Like, I think that's a win for users and for everybody, and for like retention on the product, which is like important. But I mean, like, we're going to be doing more and more stuff with Brave, right? Like we've got gaming relationships, we've got, more and more wallet partners coming on, and more networks that we're adding to. Like, for example, we just closed this proposal with Polkadot, right? Like where they're using Brave to kind of like help to get awareness and like do a bunch of things around their ecosystem, featuring dApps, featuring stuff you can do, etc. Like, we'll be doing this with other L1s and L2s as well. And like the fact that we have like a community and this kind of network of communities together, it helps to kind of show these partners we bring on, like, hey, look, like we can put this in front of a lot of active people and like get them like talking about it and getting feedback and like helping to kind of like inform, our partners, but also like grow the community even stronger from other networks too, like as we grow this forward. So this is all stuff that's super interesting to me. I think that like we all should grow the best stuff together. I mean, we've always been like cream rising to the top kind of like mentality here with things, and there's going to be a lot of junk in the market. And like, it's just definitely, like you were saying, like the bull market's a little bit different this go around. But I think that, there's a lot of people also getting skittish or whatever, but I'm not. I mean, like, I don't know, if you went through this last bear cycle, like it's like, 80 to 90% of my net worth go away. Like this all just feels like a breeze right now, like compared to that. And I think that, the potential here is so big with what we're all doing. And finally, it's at a point where like, if we're bringing a bunch of users in to self-custody with rewards on chain, over the next 12 months, we can be like introducing them to new rewards plays. I think that's the way to go. Like, I want to see it to where like users can be earning like $20+ a month if we can do it, whether it's with BAT and by holding BAT, a combination of other things, right? Like, I think that's the value. That's why I'm stoked that we're working with Bandit, that we have these meme coins working together, because the potential for us to like collectively like give people a heads up as to like these things as they roll out, it's like huge. And and it's fun. It's like, after this last, bear cycle of just hell, it's like, it's cool to be collaborating with other projects and like doing fun stuff again, with these things, and it keeps us all up front, but yeah, like, I think, let's, let's see what we can do. Anybody else has any comments, please chime in. I'd love to hear what other people think too.
Yeah, I'll ask a question. So, Finn, I guess what have been the hardest things and the best things about running a meme coin project
Dude,
for you?
whoa, this is like a personal question because holy crap, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in two meme projects. One I've been running for 6 months, and then has been like 1 month now. They've been completely different projects. They're both fucking insane. This is the craziest thing, most demanding thing I've ever done. I'm an artist, a full-time artist, and this has just been like really insane. The hardest parts, both are different. So for my other project, which is a project on the Beam network, which is the only meme on the Beam network, by the way, that it was like a community takeover, so there was no team bag. So everything has just been done like with no money, no anything. It's just been purely organic, and it's been fun for a while. And we've got some opportunities, but it's also just exhausting and frustrating because like I think the hardest thing that I noticed between both of them is really kind of depending on the community to rally behind you, and I think that like there's usually, let's say, you got 1,000 people in Telegram, maybe 30 or 40 are actively talking, and then maybe 5 or 10 are like going hard, like rating, sharing, tweeting, like commenting, like that kind of activation. Getting to mobilize that, I think, is like it's like it's like the motor of any project. So finding people like that, because it has to be like it's like a super fan but also a super degen, because usually like people with big bags will really want to pump their bags, so they're willing to like go super hard for it. um I think that might be like probably the hardest thing with it's different because we had team bag and marketing budget, and the team is way bigger. Like my other project, there's just like 3 of us. There's like 7 of us, I think. So that makes it more easy in terms of like the responsibility distribution. But yeah, like it's just, let me see, sorry, I'm looking at some questions. I'll look at it, but yeah, the best thing, I mean, we're learning so much. It's just such an expansive learning process, in terms of communicating and marketing and connections and relations, because it still all comes down to the relationships you have, the connections you have.
Yeah.
At the end of it, like most things in life, it's all about your network and the community you have, that's gonna elevate and uplift each other. And I think that's why this Brave partnership is so powerful, because early on it kind of was like we've shared the project sometimes with people. It's like, we were a fair launch, we broke the pre-sale meta, it's an original meme, it's a sound, like everyone hums, and people are like, okay. And we're like, we have a partnership with Brave, and they're like, whoa, wait, what? let me look into this now. And that's what I think, that like Brave has such an amazing credibility that it can offer projects. And I think that's why it's really great, to be selective of the projects that they do end up partnering with, because it can bring certain credibility. And just as long as the project is solid, and I think the lineup they have currently is like super solid, then it becomes this thing that adds credibility to both parties, because it's like, oh yeah, I know this team is legit, it's not rugging, and I know Brave is legit, and like it's mutually beneficial. And I think that's kind of like the most positive thing that we can create from this whole experience, is like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, how can we all grow together and kind of like elevate it together?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think, it sounds like just like about like any other project, it's, getting that community, keeping people, and having that attention, right?
Yeah, it's an attention economy, bro, and you have to be like pumping out memes and content. But it's really funny though, because it's also kind of a roulette. Like some projects don't have to do much. Do you know that Avalanche project, Cock? That's it's actually called Cock in You. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm not trying to. I'm sorry for this. it's written. But anyway, their project was like
COK, right? Yeah.
it was like
QLK,
an Anon team, Anon dev. It was just a community doing it, and it became the biggest meme coin on Avalanche. You know,
It's
so
wild.
so that's what I mean. It's like it's definitely not a one size fits all formula.
Mm.
Every project is a combination of how good the meme is, where the timing is, where they launch, like the meta and the people that they have backing it, you know, because at the end of the day, that can make a project. But I'm really grateful that, like, you know, I much prefer to do this with Brave than to do this with some KOL that will pump it and then dump it on their community. That kind of stuff is unsustainable. And that's why I'm excited, because I think building with Brave is kind of, it adds longevity and makes it like a longer term play in terms of, like, you know, what you're building is something more sustainable.
I'm wondering too, like Fen, like we saw it from looking at Bird Eye and from just kind of observing, you know, the kind of hard stats over the duration of running the first couple phases. Like, did you all notice a new inflow of people coming into like the Telegram or being more active that you hadn't seen prior to us running the campaigns? Like,
yeah, so there was, I mean, as the numbers went up, we were also in a big kind of pump moment.
mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to decipher from where that came, because we had a few things going on. We have some like Asia callers kind of sharing us. So I don't know if you've looked in the Telegram, but after like 6 p.m. EST, it just becomes a Chinese.
I saw
like
that. Yeah.
The Chinese like take over, like the, you know, the, so for like 12 hours it's just in Chinese, the chat. So the mods had to like buy premium and start like translating and writing on ChatGPT. It's like it's ridiculously demanding. But yes, like when and again, it's an amazing look no matter how you look at it. It's great in terms of metrics, in terms of visibility. The next step is, and this is kind of what you were saying, Luke, also, is like, okay, so how do we turn those eyes into holders? You know, where's the funnel from, like, I see this, I like it, I'm gonna buy it. And that's like, that's kind of the part where we still have to, what does that look like? Because it looks different for every project. But I do think that Amigos in particular is a very nice visual incentive to kind of want to be part of the ecosystem. That's why I think that it's exciting to kind of like see in what ways we can push Amigos into the other communities, because it's such a visual. It's like, oh wait, I can own this also. I can like have one of these. That's really cool, you know. And the art is like ridiculous and also awesome.
Art's pretty rad too, and I almost wonder too, like if there's a way where people could like, I'm not sure if this is how doable this would be or not, but like if there would be a way where like people could even like buy Amigos with BAT or something as like an option on the site. It might be something else to explore too. We've done that with we did an NFT mint a couple of years ago where you could buy with BAT or with Sol, but that might be another way to kind of think about it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Like,
yeah. So and that's what I mean. That's the kind of like mentality of like, okay, in what ways can we make this attractive to the holders of our token? You know, and that's something that we would also, I think, would be really cool to explore and talk about. I think we should probably, if possible, we should like set up a call with like some of the team, so that we can kind of, you know, spitball some more ideas. I'm really grateful for this space that I've been able to like say it out loud, because it helps a lot. Where it's like, okay, yeah, this there might be something there, you know, because when you're in your inner circle of the team, it's like, is this a good idea? What do we? But yeah, I think, I don't think that would be impossible. I just have to like run it by the dev, but that could be something that could also be mutually beneficial and attract, like, again, like share our communities, you know, and then find a way to reciprocate that. So it's kind of like, okay, you're able to do this with BAT over here, and then let's see what we're able to do with within your ecosystem. And I think that's a really, really good idea of like ways that we can kind of like cross-pollinate, which I think should definitely be the objective of kind of what we can do together.
Yeah, I mean, because we're also talking with some folks. I mean, like, you know, the meme coins aren't going away anytime soon, and the potential for like having kind of BAT become paired with starting with like this lineup, right, where we've got pretty solid meme coins, where having BAT kind of as a pair with them in different contexts makes a lot of sense too. So like it can kind of be interesting, because if you got a place where, okay, I can like, that's what I like about the ad platform too, because I know a lot of this is like on experimentation and piloting, et cetera. But like ideally, like we have a platform where you can buy ad space with BAT, and so like having this liquidity with BAT around meme coins is like a pretty interesting dynamic, given it's the attention economy, and like we're doing it cross chain too. So it's kind of cool, because you could see a scenario where you got like a DEX that has meme coins paired with BAT, and then you can have ways to buy these NFTs with BAT, and then just make it super easy for people to kind of like have this this layer of stuff in the attention economy that's building communities, and BAT's kind of in the middle of it, whether it's helping to get awareness by like having the ad platform powered by BAT, or like through having this kind of liquidity layer backing a lot of this stuff. Because like on Solana, we're going to be having, I mean, people right now with the ecosystem, people have had to link it to like Uphold or Gemini or another custodian to withdraw their BAT. But now we're doing this to self-custody. So you're going to have a situation where on Solana, you're going to have a lot of people getting BAT every month, and giving them places to go, communities, stuff to do with it, like going to be more and more important there too. So, I think meme coins could be an interesting part of that strategy. And, obviously we're working with Bandit too. And so there's ways we could tie these things together. I think it's super cool.
I like what you said about the questing.
Yeah.
That's what you said, right? Questing? It was
Yeah. Running quests, right? Where you could, because I think you laid it out perfectly. Like you're like, do this thing, follow them here, whatever, like all those are questable items. We're actually doing, like, Astra is one of these partners that Bandit's working with, and I think they're doing a press release too, because we're trying to make it so that, like, because quests have a similar problem with meme coins do too, where you get to a certain scale and you kind of hit the ceiling on what the organic reach is of the team, and quest platforms are seeing a similar thing too, where they're like, okay, gosh, guys, like we're getting like, it looks like we have like 20,000 core airdrop farmers or whatever that are questing on a regular basis. They end up looking more like 100,000+ because a lot of them are gaming the system or whatever. But we're stuck in this spot where we want to use these as a marketing tool, but like we can't break through to a bigger audience. And like Brave's really well positioned, because we've got 72 million monthly active users. For us with the meme coin stuff, like we want to hit crypto users, right? So like the Brave rewards community is like 10 to 20% of our daily active users are rewards enabled, right? So like we know that if we go in toward that user base that is already passively earning crypto, and we're careful with how we target it, like we're most likely going to get right to people that are interested in meme coins. And seeing ones, there's so much noise, it's like hard to like find gems among that, where if we can start to source that, they're cool. And then you could have quests where, okay, we're promoting the quests through our platform. That's basically another way to earn rewards by doing stuff. And then a user's earning back whom or whatever, like that's tied to the quest, and then users end up they're just browsing the web with all these benefits. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And also I think like, so Migo, we haven't announced this part yet, but we're doing this thing that's like a scavenger hunt ish within the Migos collection. So like certain NFTs have certain traits that you can kind of follow and lead and decipher a riddle that will give you a prize if like you are one of the first to solve it. And I think that there might be something interesting there to explore with like the questing and the like that kind of thing. Like we could essentially like create some kind of scavenger hunt, or even make something like one of the missions, it's kind of like come up on a Twitter space and like something like that. I think could be really cool. And I also do you know what POAPs are?
Yeah, we do POAPs through the community calls. Like there was a bunch of them folks were doing.
Okay, cool. So I work with POAP out of New York City. I'm like their community liaison,
Oh,
and
nice.
it just occurred to me that is like, okay, maybe I could also incorporate something like that as a way for people to like, collect something, or like they were part of like something or an event, or just it's kind of all coming together. I'm like, wait, I have so many things that could apply to this, so I do want to. I do want to like. You had mentioned, I think, to JN something about like, hey, let's schedule some spaces. Our spaces have been like kind of sparse and far in between. And usually it's because it's kind of like I'm the one trying to coordinate it with people. It's like, hey, who's willing to host? Who's willing to co-host? We keep. I never speak out of the account. I'm just gonna ask them if I can just start doing that, because up till now, like the team is Anon, except JN kind of is doing the marketing and then I'm doing the social, but I'm not like upfront with it. But I think it would be easier for me if I can just kind of like start owning that role. But I would love to see if we could like coordinate some spaces together and kind of see
Yeah,
if we and like make a mega space or something like that,
it'd be
because
fun.
how we were doing it, so it didn't become kind of like monotonous. We were kind of just running these chill community vibes. So it's like maybe 20 minutes of 25 minutes of people just vibing, talking about things that have made you talking about things in the space. And then we ended up with like a sesh.
Yeah.
It's like 10-15 minutes of everyone just kind of and humming, and it becomes very therapeutic. You'd be surprised. This one guy at one of the spaces, he's like, I want you to know that this is my first meme coin and I was going through a lot, but then I joined your space, and I swear it was like I felt like this lightness, and I was like, holy crap, wow, that's powerful. That's the power of bro.
It was funny. Like I think at one point, I have not laughed as hard on a space as I laughed during the like during the space with the hum, where I think at one point there was like cow mooing that sounded like a hum, and it just got really wild. It was like performance art. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's been some memorable moments. One had like a pterodactyl or something that we ended up making one of the stickers. So it's definitely a powerful tool, and I think something that if we if we could coordinate or plan some together, that would be something also cool that we could do together, and possibly even like bring in the other projects, or kind of like just make it some kind of fun stuff.
Yeah. I think Baz had a really good idea too, like for cross pollinating kind of with the communities and getting people to like. I mean, if you think about it, right, like the memes travel with the with posts and everything. And one thing we could think about, like I know when we initially have folks collaborating, they're making memes together and all that, but we could even do, I don't know if it's like in a kind of contest mode, or just even like folks that make us hit a certain amount of memes that they create. We could even like, drop them tokens for both for making the memes, or we could figure out some way to make it work where folks are, I think those little bits of inspiration help motivate people too, like, and get even more interesting stuff out there. Because you're right, like that's a funny thing that I've noticed, because I'm embedded in a few different meme coin communities now, like as part of this pilot, and it is all about content. Like the more content you're outputting, the farther, the stronger everything gets. It's wild. Like it's really kind of pure in that way, where you've got to be just constantly generating content. It's almost like, like you talk about like UGC and like people making, video or whatever. This is like much more raw and pure than that. You got to be cranking memes out every day, basically. Like,
Dude, it's exhausting. You have no idea. It's like, and even if you have like 5 people doing it, you're like, oh, what's relevant? What's going on right now? It's like Dubai is flooding, and you're like, shit. Okay, let me put that into a meme, but a nice meme, not a mean meme. How do you be tasteful about? How can you be? It's a challenge. It's an art form in itself, but I think it's it also means that the more tapped in you are, like the more like ammo you have and the more relevance you have, because it's all about, memetic relevance and attention.
Yeah.
And we hosted some meme giveaways, meme contests, and had the community, but now we're thinking of ways where we can kind of essentially like create assets and unleash them into the wild and be like, here, show us what you got, like create everything that you could possibly do with these assets, and stuff like that, like giving the audience the tools to like make it. Then it's like, cool, I don't have to make memes anymore because there's like 200 memes a day being organically made by the community. That's goals right there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and you could even do like, like there's ways too to kind of like get people like almost like rank advancements too. Like you hit a certain number of memes that get out there, or memes that get a certain amount of views. There's lots of ways we could probably like quantify or like benchmark things too, to make it so that like people feel like they're getting, it's not easy. It's people think it's stuff just like super simple, but sometimes too, it's like pretty tricky to think of something clever that can carry. And there's a lot of like swings and misses with this stuff. I know this myself from doing some of this stuff like for fun. It's like, dude, it's a skill, right? Like, and we can reward folks that are doing this. I think it's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Bao's asked, like, are we seeing any new Brave users within this meme coin communities? I mean, I for one, I didn't have Brave until this collab, so at least for me, for sure. And I don't know if you have metrics for that, but
I know for a fact that JN's been like hugely talking about Brave every opportunity he gets, which is awesome. And like he's even talked to us too, because he's been about some other ways that he can help get awareness out there for Brave. I think it lifts all boats for sure.
Exactly.
And I think I really appreciate you coming on today. We're almost at time too, but honestly, like Fen, this has been really great, because I what I really want to do is like, have folks like you on to talk. We've got a good brainstorming session here. I think there's a lot of good next steps we can do, and then, get folks from the other projects on too, but really kind of let people know. I think when you have somebody from the project on, it really kind of like humanizes it, and it gets people another look at things, and I really appreciate you coming on, and everybody else too. And with that, we're at time, so I want to thank everybody for showing up. Great presentation by everybody. Thanks, Fen, for coming for him, and we'll be back 1 week from today, same bad time and channel. Until then, hope you all have a great week, and I will see you online. And Bows, yes, hit me up in a DM. We definitely do chat.
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Everyone.
Recording has stopped.